Hey, today on Exploretography, we're in the garage and we're installing the Front Runner Slimline roof rack. In preparation for the rooftop tent, we now need to put a rack on the RLD cap. So we're gonna get busy installing. The first step is these rails, and once we get this complete, we'll get moving on to the tent. So come along with us and let's get working on the Gladiator. All right, our first step we're gonna do is go inside the RLD cap. There are little caps that are covering holes on that are mounting points on top of the RLD cap. So we're going to climb in here, see if we can knock them out, and then we'll move forward from there. Just tuck one little tab. All right, for the next step, now that we've got the holes out of the caps out of the holes, let's go ahead up. We're going to head up on top of the roof. The Front Runner actually sent rails with their rack system. This for a cap or utility trailer. We have to kind of customize these rails to fit on top of the RLD cap. So head up and start doing some measurements. This will probably be the most critical part of putting this rack on. So let's see if we can figure it out. All right, so now up on the roof, we can see where our center hole is. And when you'll see the rails that they shipped out, with the ending cap, the finish cap on the end, it's a bit long for the cap. So for this ridge, so what we want to do is just kind of center where we want to put our ending finishing cap down here, and take a look at how we can place this out. We're gonna have to do a little cutting. So what I'll do is, as you see, the Front Runner rails actually come with pre-drilled holes. I'm gonna pre-drill this bottom plate, this little plastic cover, so I can align it with this center hole, and then we'll make some marks and measurements, and then cut the aluminum rail on these with the saw. So I'll be right back. All right, so one of the things I really want to know number-wise is how much this ending finishing piece takes up in the overall length. So what I'm going to do is just kind of try to figure out a good way to measure. Looks like 1.25 inches. So it adds 1.25 inches to the overall length. So we have one on the front, one on the back. So we're looking at 2.5 inches added to this aluminum rail when we're completely done. So let's take a look. We marked, let's go back up. I've marked where I want this finishing piece to land. So let's go back up and measure from the center hole to the end piece, and that'll tell us kind of what we need measurement wise for cutting this rail. So what I want to do is measure from the center of this hole, and what we have is a line down here I made kind of where I want the end finishing piece to end. So from the center of the hole to the very tail end of our mark is 26 and 15/16. Let's go ahead and call it 27. I think 27 will fit nicely. And let's see where 27 puts us on this direction. Is right about where we want to be. So I think overall 27 inches from our center hole will be the overall length. We'll have to subtract 2.5 inches from that measurement, and then we'll know the length of the aluminum rail that we need to cut and then do some redesign on for the holes. But we're getting there. Let's go cut. So we know that this is 1.25 inches extension to the aluminum rail. So what I'm going to do is go from center. I'm going to go our 27, and then I'm going to back up 1.25 inches, 25 3/4. This will be our cut mark, and then we want to do the same 25 3/4 from the center hole again. Some of the critical points of this build. So 25 3/4 on that end. So what that allows us to do is shrink this aluminum rail down and be able to put our end caps on and have an overall length that we want. So let's go to the saw. Alright, so for reference, I'm just going to quickly draw a straight line across, square line across here. And on the other one as well. Okay, this is aluminum, extracted aluminum rail. It is non-ferrous, so it can be cut with normal woodworking tools. Should not hurt the blade. What you need to do is go really slow. It will throw aluminum all over, so we have our safety glasses on that are fogging up on me. And we'll just take it slow and cut through, and it should give us a clean cut. And it will be noisy. It's longer than my tool. But the finished product is a nice clean cut, although it sounds horrible. Do that again. So fogged up, can't see. Alright, let's make our cut. As you can tell, one arm got sparklies. A lot of them. So definitely wear your safety glasses. Make sure the aluminum stays out of your eyes. Those are hard to replace. Alright, we centered over the, here's our mark, here's our gap. About the same amount on this side. I think we're headed the right direction.
Success.
The next thing we'll have to battle is we have to re-drill some holes. Our hole here from the factory on the rail, and here's the hole from the factory on the cap. So we're literally have a couple options of either ignoring from the rail, just ignore these holes, let them be left alone, or we could utilize them and put more support on the rail by drilling into the cap. So some decisions we have to make. Yeah, nothing more stressful than drilling into a $3,500 topper cap. Looks like the rail's good, so let's re-drill the ending holes for the caps to go on. So we'll go down and redo those on this piece and move forward. All right, what we want to do is we want to replicate these holes that were delivered from Front Runner back onto our rail that's going to go on top of the cap. These holes are one for securing, and second one is it holds the end piece in. So this tab here locks into this hole, so it'll actually keep it secure. So we want both holes replicated onto this aluminum. So what we're going to do is you'll notice the cut end is shiny. So from the saw, the factory end is painted. So make sure we get painted side out. We want to flush the sides in the front, and then we're just going to mark the holes that we want to drill out. Alright, let's go ahead and start drilling the holes. What I've got is a center punch, so this will keep the bit from drifting. Right now I know it's plastic, but we'll go ahead and center punch the holes so we can get a closer shot at. Not quite centered. Alright. That plastic helps you from hold your bit in place. We'll scrap wood. We have learned our lesson. We don't want to indent our tailgate again. So with the aluminum, you're going to have a couple little burrs in here that we need to clean out. A little straight screwdriver to try to just take the burrs out. And we'll replicate this same approach on this side. Center punch the holes. Now, since the larger bit is in the front, another solution not to drill into your tailgate is to put it over the tailgate. So we'll go ahead and make the larger hole up front. Bits to smaller, the two for the back hole. Again, just try to knock down a little bit of the burrs that are in the rail. Alright, let's take this up. I think our next step is trying to figure out where the factory holes are from the RLD to the rail system, and then drilling those holes into this so we can secure it. So let's head up to the top of the cap. On top of the cap now. Convenient to stand on the tire to actually work on this. It's quite comfortable. So what we're going to do is kind of just mark out, we know that the center hole's in this area. We have trying to mark the center of the hole the best we can. We have a factory hole there, and we have a factory hole over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to align this center hole with the factory holes, and then we're going to transfer these marks onto our rail system that we can use to drill out these holes, to use the factory holes themselves. One thing we might consider is putting some additional holes for additional support, but let's go ahead and transfer these and get them drilled out. Now we've transferred the lines from the cap to the rail. What I'm going to do is use a small square using our lines that we have on the side. What I want to do is take my square, kind of transfer that line across the back. And same goes this line down here. We're going to transfer that in there. It's 1 3/4 thick, so we're going to mark at 5/8. And that'll give us center of 7/8. Center of our rail. All right, using the smaller bit, we'll go ahead and make our hole. Plastic's doing well for keeping us centered. Repeat that step over here. We'll go ahead and use a punch on this side, just to make sure we get where we want to go. I will say one of the nice benefits is the RLD cap has got a larger hole, so it doesn't have to be pinpoint accurate, and we have a little play that we can use to center the rails up. So thankfully we'll have to be 100% exact, but we'll have to be close. Big question now is going up top, see if it fits. I think we're gonna get our steps in today, climbing these step ladders. All right, so I see we're in the hole there, and third one I see through the cap. So success. We have success. I'm thinking, do I drill into the cap or not, is what I'm thinking right now. We have rivet threads that could go in there, or we could utilize the 3 holes and let it be. It is a big question of drilling a hole into this cap, so I think I may forego right now the additional drilling and just use these 3 supplied holes from RLD and mount the rail system on. All right, so rethinking this when I was up there, got a little chicken about drilling holes into the cap, but I think we're going to go ahead and do it. That'll give us 4 additional spots to actually secure this rail down. Thinking about how the rack will be holding not only itself, but then putting the rooftop tent on there, the off-roading, and the going down the highway. It's a giant sail, it's catching a lot of wind. I want to make sure it's secure. Also, we'll be sealing the holes with RVT. I think that's what it's called, sealant. And once that's down, it's going to be really hard to get these rails back up if I want to change anything. So we're going to go ahead and put the holes in the cap. So let's get to it and see what we can do. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drill the plastic out of the factory holes from to allow us to line this rail and mark our holes up on the cap. All right, so we're up on top of the cap, and what I want to do is right now look at this center hole and center it up into this hole, factory hole from RLD, and then take a look at our pre-drilled holes down here. Make sure we're still seeing what we need to see. Unfortunately, the rivet nuts are going to have to be more precise than the RLD, so I have some temporary tape. Once I get this placed, I kind of want to secure it down so it doesn't move while I'm marking the holes. Probably most critical is to get these holes. As you can see, it slides pretty easy on this paint. So I just want to make sure it doesn't go anywhere while I'm marking. All right, well, we'll go ahead and make sure one more time we got those on there. Sure, holes are well marked. Looks good. I guess the next step is getting the drill and putting a hole in the top. Center punch that hole. We'll start with the smaller bit. One hot bit. We're going to step it up to the next size. To the next size a bit. It is hard metal they make this out of. So our rivet now fits, rivet nut fits in there nicely. And we'll go ahead and get the tool to put this in and give it a test fit before we drill more holes into this top. The tool, make sure it's flat down. And screw it. Here, I just want to. That's pretty secure. There it is.
Look at that.
Beautiful little line. Sit right on top of there and go right in. I am not a professional fabricator, that's for sure. Let me get another insert. I think the hole is the hardest part. There's another one.
Two down, two to go.
Two to go. So here we are. We're going to get another hole drilled and get another insert put in.
Well, apparently those muscles worked.
There we go. It's got to get the right amount of weight on it, I think. I brought the weight.
Strength.
Weight for it.
Strength.
Strength. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the insert in. Pull it out. Make sure we put it on the right way.
Breathing in that WD-40.
Breathe in that WD-40. Pitch it together. Screw it. We have another insert.
I think it's time to go to Lowe's.
Yes, or Ace Hardware, our friendly neighborhood hardware store. Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Yet. They see what I'm doing to these drill bits, they may never sponsor me. Alright guys, we're back from Ace Hardware. We picked up a Milwaukee red Helix bits that we're going to give a try, and some penetrating oil instead of WD-40, which probably won't burn as quite as easily as the WD-40 did. So we were on the largest bit last time, and our DeWalt's batteries have died, so we're moved over to the old Craftsman. So all kinds of things have changed. Put some penetrating oil in there, making a mess. And like every time I open oil, it goes squirting. All right, let's give this a try. It was like butter. Wow. Hot.
Should have done that 3 holes ago.
4 holes ago, we would have been done. Alright guys, we're back from Ace Hardware. We picked up a Milwaukee red Helix bits that we're going to give a try, and some penetrating oil instead of WD-40, which probably won't burn as quite as easily as the WD-40 did. So we were on the largest bit last time, and our DeWalt's batteries have died, so we're moved over to the old Craftsman. So all kinds of things have changed. Put some penetrating oil in there, making a mess. And like every time I open oil, it goes squirting. Alright, let's give this a try. It was like butter. Wow. Hot.
Should have done that 3 holes ago.
4 holes ago, we would have been done. All right, let's get a. That was really nice. Hopefully, it keeps that keeps continuing that kind of way. We'll get through the other side pretty fast. All right. Did I hit myself? Wham!
Did you hit yourself in the face?
You know how I operate. Did I mention this is a learn as we go program? We don't have all the answers. We just try to figure out the problem. Those are pretty.
It's like you bedazzled your truck.
Huh?
It's like you bedazzled your truck.
I bedazzled my truck. The Jeep Gladiator bedazzle. This project should go a little quicker this time. First thing I want to do is I'm going to drill out our center hole in the plastic so we can see where we're at. So, quickly just and we'll line up those center holes. Up the best you can, and mark each end. Let's go cut some aluminum. For pieces, kind of mark our holes where we need to drill. Start drilling. Again, the one in front is a little larger hole, so we'll start the second one back. Here, let's go ahead and punch through the factory holes. Holes on the outside for the we transferred the holes and go ahead and take this guy down. So we'll go ahead and mark these. And find center and punch them down. Keep our bit from drifting around. Amazing, Milwaukee. Nice job.
Did I go through already?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's something.
It jumped right through there. That's fast. Wow. Okay. Still a beautiful day.
It is.
Can't believe it's like January.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Desert winter. For sure.
Oh, we do have long sleeves on, so it's a little chilly.
It's chilly for
But
Phoenix.
for the
realms
winter,
of
this is
Phoenix,
beautiful.
it's nice and chilly. But our winters are not too extreme.
See all the snow they got up north?
No, they got
We got a little bit of snow.
nice.
So somebody was stuck. I couldn't get him out on one of the pages.
Yeah. Probably from Arizona, from Phoenix, didn't know how to drive in snow.
I guess. I don't know. It sounded like they tried to rescue him last night, but he was going to be fine overnight. 37 MTs couldn't get to him. They were about a mile away, but they just couldn't. They were getting no traction. They couldn't get to him, and they didn't want to.
Everything's called snowmobiles, right?
Well, that's what they were. That's what they were asking on the page this morning. Anybody in the Flagstaff area have a snowmobile that we can get to him? At least get him out, and we can worry about the truck another time.
Human life first.
I just feel like there's probably not as many snowmobiles in Arizona. I mean, up
I'd
here,
be
it's
so happy
winter.
to
Yeah.
grab a snowmobile and go do that for him. I miss snowmobiling. It's cold, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Exciting. We're here. We're here. Let's just see how things line up a little bit. It's hole's about the exact size of that bolt.
Beautiful. So now that you've gone over the initial fear of drilling into your cap, are you glad that you did it?
Yeah, I am. I think it's going to add a level of security, of stability. I'm hoping that we don't, maybe we avoid an issue on the trail. And nothing else, I know it's a little more secure than before.
Yeah, once you had those drill bits, it went pretty quick. So.
Yes. The new drill bits, sharp drill bits, really made a big difference. My old drill bits just had seen better days. So now we're just gonna clean this up a little bit and get our bolts and our sealant and our Loctite and start locking it down.
Anything else?
Yeah, really. Feels like a whole nother recipe, doesn't it? We're starting over again. Their recommendation is to put a sealant around the holes. I've got RVT sealant. We're gonna put just a little gasket around each hole. Okay, we're gonna line this guy up with the center hole. Just kind of drop it in place. Start securing down our. Well, back that up a little bit. We want to put some Loctite on there. So, biggest problems I see is the Loctite runs off before I get the bolt in place. So, kind of like this concept. Put it in the wrong hole.
I was like, are you okay?
No. I had it all set up to go and stuck it in the wrong hole.
You need to ask permission before you do that.
That's my girl. Good. You're making a mess over here. A mess before anything dries. That is
Look at
snug.
those rails.
Beautiful. It's pretty loose, so I'm gonna put a little RTV on the set of these fingers that are holding everything in place. All right, so now we've got the the 3 bolts that are going into the existing holes in the RLD cap. So we're using a little shorter bolt, metal washer, and then a rubber washer. We're going to drop these into the holes. And then we'll get underneath and put the locking nut. Actually, forgot the Loctite. I'll have to put a little of that on underneath. Alright, putting in the last bolt. Washers in there. And alright, for the final fitting, I'm gonna need Mary's help.
What do you need?
Just come on over and let's hold this while I put the washers and nuts on from the inside. We have a socket on extender with a piece of paper towel in there that holds the nut towards the front of this short socket. And then what we're doing is taking the washer, putting it on a magnet stick and running it through this hole up here so you can see that. What we'll do is a little game of operation. Find the bolt. And there we go. She's nice and tight. All right, we're on the last rail. We're gonna find our spot again. Make sure we got it going the right direction. Yeah, that lines up a little bit better. All right, we'll get our RVT sealant. Rail put in place. We're just going to graduate to the impact. Putting the washers, metal washer, and bolt through the holes that were pre-drilled by RLD, so we can finish this step of the project and move on to the next. Do a little RTV on this connection between the pieces. Just make sure things stay where they should be going down the road, hopefully. And we'll let it set up and give it a test tomorrow. All right, last cap for this project. Let's get it RTV'd on and any excess. I would call this project complete. The rails are now on the RLD cap. We are going to move towards getting the rack on next. So I hope you've gotten some information out of this. We've struggled a little bit. You saw some imperfections, some mistakes. That's how we do it. We are by no means a professional installer. We're just doing our own thing on our vehicles. If you enjoyed the video, please stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share. Next up is the rack. So we'll put the rack part on and then comes the tent. So make sure you ring that bell so you're notified when those parts come up and some of the adventures we're headed on. Until next time, get out there and explore, create, and do some good. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. All right, for our next steps, what we want to do is we want to replicate these two holes from the Front Runner factory. For
Blooper reel. Okay.
this.